Hello. Today I have a story for you from Ireland called Paddy Deneen's Harp. Paddy Deneen lived in the small Irish village of Moyvane in County Kerry. Paddy Deneen was an accomplished musician. He played the Irish harp. He loved to play his harp for the children on sunny days when they were out. And on rainy days, Paddy would go to the village hall and play for all the villagers to lift their spirits. Now, Paddy was a bit worried. You see, he was getting older and no one else in the village played the harp. So Paddy looked around and he noticed that Dennis O'Reilly was a young lad with some musical talent. So Paddy taught Dennis to play the harp. Now Dennis became a pretty good harp player. Not as good as Paddy, but he was still pretty good. One day Dennis saw a notice for a harp contest in Killarney, and he took it to Paddy, and the two men decided they would go to the contest. Now Paddy, he wanted to go so he could hear all the wonderful harp music and all the wonderful harpists. And Dennis, he wanted to go because he wanted to win the prize. Now, Killarney was a long way from Moyvane, so the two men had to set off early in the morning. They walked all day, and that evening they had to set up camp in the woods. Paddy went out to gather some firewood while Dennis stayed behind to prepare their food. While Paddy was occupied, Dennis got Paddy's harp out of the bag and he cut one of the strings. When Paddy came back, they built a fire and they enjoyed their potatoes for dinner. And then Paddy, he got his harp out of the bag to play them some music. And that's when he noticed that one of his harp strings was broken, and he asked Dennis if he could loan him a string for the harp. And Dennis said, oh no, he would need all of the strings he had brought for the contest tomorrow. And Paddy said, oh, that was all right. And the two men lay back, listened to the birds, and soon fell asleep. They were awakened by a ruckus out in the woods. And Paddy sat up and said, oh, Dennis, what's that? And Dennis said, 'tis nothing, go back to sleep. And they just started to drift off to sleep when again they heard a cry. And Paddy said, oh, Dennis, I think someone's needing our help. And Dennis again said, Paddy, it's just a rabbit that's caught in a trap. Go back to sleep. So Paddy lay back down. And then, for a third time, he heard the cry. And this time he said, Dennis, I gotta go check this out. So Paddy went out into the woods. And out there in the woods, he found a little man with his foot stuck down in a hole. And he recognized that this little man was a leprechaun. And the little man said, Paddy, help me, please. A rabbit has my foot and he's trying to drag me down into his hole. So Paddy went over and he grabbed the little man by his arms. And then Paddy barked like a dog. Well, the rabbit was so surprised to hear a dog barking that he let go of the little man's foot. Paddy pulled the little man out of the hole. The little man said, oh, Paddy, I am so grateful that you saved me. I must repay the favor. I have a purse full of gold coins that will never run out. I'll give you my purse of gold coins. And Paddy said, now, what would I do with a purse of gold coins? I'm an old man. I don't need them. I was glad to help. And he started to walk away. And the little man said, oh, but Paddy, how about I give you a whole pot of gold? And Paddy stopped and said, I am an old man. I've no need for a pot of gold. I've enough days left in me to spend a whole pot of gold. You keep it. I was glad to help. And he started to walk away again. And the little leprechaun said, Paddy, please tell me, what's your heart's desire? And Paddy said, "Oh, well, tell ya, my heart's desire is to play the sweetest harp music in all of Ireland. Oh, not for myself, but for everybody listening." And Paddy went back to camp. And when he got there, he told Dennis, "Yep, you were right. It was nothing." And the two men went to sleep. While they were asleep, the leprechaun and his buddies came to the camp. And they pulled Paddy's harp out of the bag, and they did a little something to it. And then one of the leprechauns went over and he pulled Dennis's harp out of its bag, and he did a little something to that. The next morning, when the two men woke up, they continued walking on to Killarney, and they got there just in time for the contest. And when they drew their lots, why, Dennis got a low number. He would be first up on the stage. And Paddy, he drew the highest number. He would be the last player onto the stage. When Dennis went up onto the stage, he pulled his harp out of the bag, and as he touched the harp strings, they went ping, 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 ping. All of the harp strings broke, but Dennis wasn't able to play a single note. Now came to the very end of the contest. Paddy was the last contestant. He went up on the stage, and when he pulled his harp out of the bag, why, the harp strings were made of pure gold. Oh, in fact, the whole harp was pure gold. And when Paddy played, first he played a sad tune, and there wasn't a dry eye in the audience. And then Paddy played the sweetest tune he knew, and all the people in the audience let out a deep collective sigh. When Paddy played the last note, he smiled, he closed his eyes, and he went to sleep forever. Oh, don't be too sad. You see, Paddy had achieved his heart's desire. He had played the sweetest harp music in all of Ireland. Oh, you may not be believing this story, but I tell you what, if you ever go to Mulvane, go to the village hall, and there you'll find a glass case, and in that glass case you just might find a gold harp with a plaque beneath it that reads, "This harp belonged to Paddy Deneen, the greatest harp player in all of Ireland." Bebo Ben, my story ends.